So you wanna go to war with me? You're talking like you think you're royalty. You think that I'm afraid, but I don't break. I heard you question my stability. You think I'll fall just like a guillotine, but I am here to stay. Won't look away. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control, feel it in my bones. I'm coming for the, coming for the.
Mic check 1, 2. All right, looks like that is working. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. How's everybody doing tonight? Happy New Year. If you didn't tune into the New Year's broadcast, waiting for one guest to check in. Doc Zeno, what's up? Soul Seeker, I see you. Matt, Brett, John's Touchpad, Lordy, Lex, Code Name, Bogdan, Candace, Diana, Punchy Nuts, what's up, amigo, Mikey, Andrew, Captain Billy B, our Baglio, good evening. Dr. McLovin in the house. Grandma Lou, good evening to you. All right, Ray Mill, thank you. Scarlett's sitting over here next to me on the couch. I see Stephen just popped in the waiting room. Let me get Stephen on board here. Stephen, you want to do a mic check?
Hey, Tony, everybody. You hear me?
I can hear you swell. Yes, sir.
Perfect.
All right, guys. The agenda for tonight, by the way, I saw Massalorian's live streaming tonight also. I've been trying to text and call him for a couple days to tell him Happy New Year. So we must be having some phone issues again. At any rate, we'll try and keep this as short and sweet as we can. We're not going to do a whole lot of vote talking tonight, although I think some of the stuff that Stephen and I are going to go over with you guys regarding Q4 and the box office numbers may be a good lead-in to the upcoming video I have for you on the pros and cons of a yes and no vote, and more specifically, what everyone wants to know: why now? Why is he doing this now? So let's tee it up, Stephen. First of all, Happy New Year to you. Did you guys do anything fun?
Thank you. Not too much. I'm a little sick right now. I think I'm gonna roll with the no camera Pantheon style tonight. I think I got the Rona, unfortunately.
So, oh no. Yeah. Are you going to be doing a test?
Yep, tomorrow morning, right in the morning. But I'm here because I love this shit.
All right. Well, thank you for taking some time out of your sick schedule to come in and share some thoughts with us. Cool. So, do you want to put up? Let's talk about Avatar first. I can pull up the screen share, or if you have it ready, you can pull it up.
I can do it here. Let me pull it up.
Yeah, your mic is cutting in and out again. So
here, I'll be back.
It's not as bad as the other night when you were doing your live stream. The first time, but he's gonna try and jiggle the cables real quick, guys. All right, while he's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and pull up Avatar. Stand by 1 second. All right. If you guys saw our live stream a few days back, you might have seen this chart before. If you were on Steven's live stream, you might have seen this chart before. This is the daily domestic box office for Avatar, with the shaded area right here representing expectations, and the solid yellow line representing what it's actually bringing in on domestic box office. And as you can see, through the velocity of this strong yellow line, Avatar is exceeding expectations. And I think it's interesting to compare that to something like Top Gun Maverick. So let's put that up. Top Gun Maverick. I did put this out on Twitter and also on the community tab of my YouTube channel, if you guys ever check that. And what you can see here, the blue line represents Top Gun Maverick's total cumulative domestic box office from May 27th all the way through. And then the red line is Avatar. And what you can see is that Avatar is doing the same velocity up and now exceeding Maverick. So very bullish on the way the Avatar is trending now 18 days in. And if we scroll down and look at this table, even more interesting is that Top Gun Maverick to date has done 1.48 billion in worldwide box office revenue. In 18 days, Avatar 2 is just about to surpass that. So I think everybody can be, I think you can rest easy that Avatar 2 is going to do just fine. We're 18 days in and we've already exceeded the worldwide box office for Top Gun Maverick. And if this trend continues, we're going to hit 2 billion here really, really quick. Yes, there was a little bit of slow period last weekend due to the bad weather around the country. But overall doing swell. Box Office Mojo is the next one that I'm going to be pulling up while I'm waiting on Steven. Helps if you can spell. And I know everybody's really curious. Steven says he's resetting his equipment. Jack Wolf, good evening to you. Manuel, good evening. Proud Mod, good evening. Go Blue says, enjoyed laughing at folks on a space call, bashing Adam, Aaron, and AMC. I don't know which one that was, but sorry to hear about that. Roadster guy, Massalorian, I saw when I was getting ready to go live that he had one also. I've been trying to reach out to him for a couple days to tell him Happy New Year, but must be having some phone issues. All right.
Yay.
All right.
Does this sound better, Tony?
Sounds a little better. Yes, sir.
Sorry, I'm having some internet issues. I'm here, though.
All right. We just went through, while we were waiting on you, the Avatar versus Top Gun Maverick chart.
Isn't it incredible? 18 days in, and we already beat it.
18 days in, and we're already, we're about to, maybe in the next day or so, beat worldwide Top Gun Maverick. Yes, that is fantastic.
It's safe to say that it's an international success.
Yes, 956 million already in 18 days on international box office versus, it already beat Top Gun Maverick on international. 768 million for Top Gun. So, yeah, good things. And that is good because all movie theaters, January is usually a slow month. I think we can get some good carryover from Avatar into January. And we have Megan just about to come out. Let's see, most anticipated.
I've actually heard a lot of great things about Megan. There's a lot of people that have seen it already. They're saying it's really good.
I'm looking forward to it. I know Scarlett was looking forward to it. We got to see if we can get her out of the house to go see a movie. To go see that movie Megan about that doll that's kind of like alive. Remember the preview of that? She said she wanted to go see that. We have Megan on a wide release. We've got the House Party, January 13th. Plane. Man Called Otto is going to a wider release on January 13th. Missing from Sony. What else we got for January?
January, you got Night Shyamalan. It's like The Man Who Knocks.
What's it called?
It's The Man Who Knocks, I think.
The
That's
Man in the
new one.
Basement?
Yeah, it's no. Let me find it real quick.
We have Knock at the Cabin on February 3rd. Is that what you're thinking of?
Yep. Oh, it's February now. Oh,
Yeah,
shoot, I thought
February
it was
3rd.
February. Oh, sorry about that.
All right. So some good movie releases in January, but it looks like January is going to be we're going to be banking on Megan and Avatar 2.
Definitely. I think, Tony, a lot of the other big movies, they realized they just need to get out of the way for Avatar. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Just get out of the way.
Yep. All right. So let's talk about Q4 box office because I tweeted out the Avatar chart and they're like, Tony, you got to tell them, Tony, that Q4 is going to be bad. I mean, when I see comments like that, I know people that are commenting don't regularly watch the channel because Steven and I talk about the numbers all the time. We talk about it all the time in the Discord. Nobody who is a regular viewer of this channel is going to be surprised about the Q4 numbers. Now, will people out in the wild be surprised because they think Avatar did great? But you guys can see the numbers here of how Q4 looks. It's not as good as Q4 in 2021. First of all, 1.77 billion versus 2 billion in Q4 2021. And if we look at Q3, we had this year, that just ended, 1.9 billion. So Q4 is also lower than Q3. Steven, do you want to kick off any thoughts on that?
There were a few movies this year that really slowed down our speed. We had Buzz Lightyear that took around $100 million loss. Strange World recently took a $230 million loss. Obviously, we've been able to make that up with Avatar, but we've just had a lot of movies that kind of flopped on us, unfortunately. But going forward, there's so much more movies to look forward to in 2023. They're estimating a 20 to 30% increase in revenue and movies titles in general. So I'm not worried about the flops. I mean, for every flop, there's an extra one that's gonna blow it out of the water. So
Sorry about that. She wanted me to get some water from the water cooler for the dog. Can you hear me still?
yes.
So the good thing about Avatar with 3 weeks in December, as I heard you talking about on your live stream the other night, is these are higher box office. They're more expensive seats because most people are seeing it in IMAX, right?
Correct. The vast majority of people are not watching Avatar in standard definition. So it appears as if the ticket sales are lower, but it's because people are paying for premium seating. Exactly what Adam Aaron wants. He wants to pay for the better experience so that we don't have to have as many butts in seats to make a profit.
And let's talk again about the revenue that the theaters pull in relative to this, to the quarterly numbers. So I know last time you and I talked, you said 33%. Now, there's varying numbers you can find out there on the Google. When you're saying 33% of the box office numbers, so I had one troll telling me, Tony, tell them that AMC only made 1.7 billion in Q4. I wish AMC made 1.7 billion.
Right.
First
Yeah,
of
no.
all, 1.7 billion is all domestic, all theaters.
Correct.
And that's what the box office sales was. So AMC got a cut of that. Trolls, you need to up your game. You can't even get the facts right. That's not AMC's numbers. Ours is going to be a fraction of that.
Correct.
But we are the number one theater with the most theaters. So I expect we'll have of the house take, we'll have the majority of it.
Exactly. And every movie's different, and that's why it's hard to quantify a specific number. Based on everything I know, it really does boil to about a third. Um, like, Adam Aaron has done backdoor deals with Disney. So Marvel has its own deal versus like a standard movie like Puss in Boots or The Whale or something else. But overall, it's about a third of the worldwide box office. AMC owns about half of the screens in the United States and international, so they get about 50%. Based on what I've seen on the numbers, and it's growing for Avatar, I estimate AMC to be racking in about $230 million so far on Avatar alone. And it surprises me that Adam Aaron, I feel like he's being very quiet about this,
So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I'm expecting the Q4. Typically when they do the annual report, that includes Q1 through Q4, we don't see that till like early March. So for all of you wondering, when are we going to know the numbers? Probably sometime around the beginning of March. So we got a few months to wait if they keep up with their usual schedule of when they release those. And I will be crunching some numbers in my spreadsheet to try and forecast what the earnings per share is going to be. And one thing I was thinking about as I was getting ready for tonight, I wanted to also just check Highcroft real quick in terms of where it ended last quarter. We ended this quarter at, hang on one second, closed at 53 cents. And we need to look at what, September 30th. September 30th, we closed at 60 cents. So that's going to be another negative pull on earnings per share from Highcroft because the Q4 stock price was lower than the Q3 last day stock price. So not only do we have lower box office numbers for Q4, we're going to have a very small negative hit from Highcroft also. Just remember, Highcroft does go directly to the income statement of AMC in investment income or loss, and it's calculated by the closing price on the last day of each quarter. Doesn't matter if Highcroft has whatever their earnings are, if they make money is irrelevant. It goes by the stock price. So all that being said, this is the moment where you all, I hope you're starting to realize Q4 numbers might not be as good as we wanted them to be. And if you're wondering why Adam Aaron's been selling Ape and you're wondering why is he wanting to do a reverse stock split and maybe some more dilution, here you go. There's going to be a cash burn in Q4. I think it's safe to say. And he's doing his best to sell Ape and to raise cash. And then I think that this whole vote thing is strategic thinking. Like I see a lot of YouTubers, Stephen. I don't know if you've seen them. And I have been checking more often now than recently that are saying, why? And especially people on Twitter and in the comments. I don't understand it. We've got a year of cash. Guys, you're not thinking like if that's your attitude, you're thinking like a typical retail investor and not a CEO. A CEO's job is strategic planning, and that includes more than looking out 9 or 12 months. If he's looking at running out of cash in 9 or 12 months, this is all hands on deck type time. All hands on deck. We need to take action right now. The people in the executive suite are figuring out how to ensure that no matter what happens in the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months, that the company does not run out of cash. And they're not going to wait till the last minute. As much as that might upset all of the YouTubers that are watching this or the people on Twitter, he's going to take strategic action early rather than late. If he waits till the last minute, he's really going to get clobbered by the shorts. You don't want to be raising cash when you absolutely have to. You want to start doing it early. And that is the CEO's job. Stephen, I'll let you talk for a minute, and then I want to expand again one more time on what is the CEO's job.
I think a follow-up to that is on my live stream, I was saying I kind of equate it to the game Monopoly. You know, in Monopoly, you have your stock, where the pieces that you land on and you buy the stock like Park Place, but then you have your cash position. Just because no one lands on your space, you know, doesn't mean that you're out the game. So Adam Aaron has his cash, he has his stock. Now, but if nobody lands on it and no one pays rent, you know, at some point you have throughout the game, you know, you have to not get left behind. And I think that's similar to what's happening with Ape. He doesn't want to get left behind. He doesn't want the Ape to fall too far in value. So he's doing what he believes is best in the name of the company. And like Tony said, that's the primary job, is to protect the shareholders.
And the reason we're not running around all hair on fire, emotional, crying, looking for people to blame, conspiracy theory, is because this is exactly what we've said consistently for the last year, is that the CEO's job is to ensure the viability of the company. His job is not to ensure a MOAS. Now, if you have been listening to channels that have been telling you for 2 years that the CEO's job is to uncover a bunch of synthetics and ensure a MOAS for you, I will refer you to, again, the many times that he said directly to you in writing that he does not have any evidence of synthetic shares, blah, 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 blah. He's told you, this should not come as a surprise to anybody at this late stage in the game, that he's not seeing his job as ensuring a MOAS. I don't like using that word on this channel. I leave that for other channels. But there is potential for another short squeeze if all of the conditions line up. But Adam Aaron, I think there's going to be more, whatever you vote, yes or no, that's fine. I'm not here to tell anybody how to vote, and I will not do that. But I do feel confident that however you vote, yes or no, there's going to be continued dilution.
Right.
It's either going to be Ape or AMC. It's not going to matter how you vote. There's going to be dilution. So for all the people saying, oh, I don't want to vote yes because he's going to dilute right after, probably so.
Tony,
but if you vote no, he's got no choice but to issue billions of more Ape and sell them for 60 cents. So,
yeah. Tony, when people say they want to avoid dilution, my mind immediately goes back to the 1985 interview with Warren Buffett, where he's telling his shareholders about the preferred equity that he wanted for Berkshire Hathaway. And then they asked him, they're like, why should we vote yes? And Warren Buffett said, well, I really don't need your vote. If I wanted to tank the company, I could just do it. So I'm asking for your vote, you know? So it's like Adam Aaron knows what he's doing, you know? And I think people that want to avoid dilution, it's like the guy's already the one in charge. And we're kind of rolling with the punches here in a down market. And we just got to maneuver our way in the best way possible. And I think Adam Aaron's doing the right thing by raising cash.
Yeah, I just want to touch again on the people that are mad that he's not handing you a MOAS because he needs to raise more cash. I would, you need to start spending more time reading the financial statements and less time decoding tweets or whatever else these clickbait channels do, because you got to understand where this company is at. And I can promise you that a CEO is not looking at 12 months or less of cash saying, we're good. We'll just roll with it. We'll roll with it till December and see what. That's not how they. That's not strategic thinking. So you got to get over this being mad at Adam Aaron. It's our job as investors to pick a good entry on a stock, not buy things when they're running up. If you did, well, it is what it is. We're going to have to live with that now. But always, when you're looking at these momentum plays, short squeeze plays, it's your job to get a good entry. And the only person to blame if you didn't is yourself. The CEOs, I've talked about the CEO handbook many, many times. I've got a leather-bound copy over here on the side of my desk of this imaginary book that says, Chapter 1, if the price runs up and you've got shares available, sell them. Every CEO is going to do that, guys. Now, Chapter 2 says, after a reverse split, if you have shares available, sell them. It's a corollary to Chapter 1. So whatever happens, there's probably going to be some cash raised, no matter how you vote. It's up to you to decide, do you want him to sell AMC at a higher price or sell billions of more ape for 60, 70 cents? That's going to be the choice, really. But I can't comment on it too much because I need to see how the proxy statement, the vote, is worded in particular before we know exactly.
Tony, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
It's no secret that Adam Aaron did sell last year, which he told us way ahead of time. Wrong with that. But he also did a tweet, I believe, last night that said, "My stock sales ended a year ago. I will not sell anymore anytime soon, and I ride with you." I just want to know your interpretation of these statements. Because he also said he's going to take away his own pay for this year. So is that him, I guess, saying even if we have volatility that he's not going to sell?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, in the corporate world, every company does annual inflation adjusted pay raises. And I think that was kind of like an olive branch to retail investors, even though the bulk of his salary is not in cash. He's saying, look, we're not going to do the normal raises this year for the executives. So it's a gesture more than anything. But he's trying to let you know that he's on your side. And then those tweets about, we've talked about this many times, the bulk of his pay comes in the form of granted shares that are, most of them are tied to performance of the financials. So he is incentivized, and I can tweet it out again, but you can go look up the last proxy statement about a year ago. On page 30 is all of the details of the compensation plan, and I expect that it will be included, an updated one, in this upcoming proxy statement, because a lot of people have questions about what about your ungranted stock? What is that going to be, post-split, pre-split? I think all that will be covered in the proxy statement. If not, then I will have some questions for Adam and John Merriweather, but I'm not going to crucify them or put out a bunch of conspiracy theory tweets and videos like others are doing, saying he's just trying to enrich himself on his bonuses. You don't know that. Let's actually wait till we get the information instead of getting people upset. You're letting your emotions show. Let's just stop that nonsense. Compensation is typically covered on the proxies. You can go back and look at the one a year ago. I expect it'll be in this upcoming one. And if not, then we ask the questions. We want our executives on any company that you're in to be aligned with retail shareholders by having their bonuses tied to the performance of the financials and being rewarded with common shares of stock. That way they are incentivized for the stock to do well. And for all the people that are saying Adam Aaron wants to bankrupt the company, like, he's had many, many chances to bankrupt the company since 2020. He could have taken no action. He could have just let it go in 2020. He could have not been looking for additional revenue sources like popcorn and credit cards and doing other things. He is, as far as I can tell, taking demonstrable action to increase revenue streams and do everything he can to avoid bankruptcy. And I think the people that are angry at him, that are lobbing all these conspiracy theories, are really should be mad at themselves for believing whoever's telling you 500,000, $1 million a share, and that the CEO is right there with you. Guys, CEOs always are protecting their company And if you got in at a good price, investors ultimately receive the benefit of a company performing well. Is that going to be in 2022? No. Is it going to be in 2023? I don't know. Let's see how well movies perform in 2023. But if he fundamentally fixes the company, I think beyond 2023, things get a lot more interesting for people that hold this stock.
I'm really hoping he gets the Cineworld deal going. I know he said that the talks aren't happening now, but I think it would be beneficial to absorb more screens. If you get more screens, you get more of the worldwide cut, therefore more fundamental improvement, you know.
Let's see a couple comments here. DC says AMC retail investors will be out after AMC runs and AMC will go bankrupt. I mean, keep in mind, DC, that the price of this, well, it depends on when he does a cash raise, right? There's already retail investors getting out. I think people are getting mad that the MOAS isn't going to be next week. And I say to you guys, every one of you listening, I think that, we don't talk a lot about catalysts on this channel, except for the unknown catalyst, because I don't see a whole lot interesting in terms of catalysts other than right now we've got high cost to borrow, short interest is going up, cost to borrow is as high as I can remember it being recently, 130%, I think, on AMC. I think their ability to short it down right here is getting more and more limited. But really what we need to get the shorts out of this play, the reason they're attracted to this thing like flies on shit, is the debt. And if you don't want to be in a play where a company's got $5 billion in debt, you should not have bought it without looking at the financials in the first place. People get so mad at me when I'm looking at other momentum plays. Steven, you've probably heard this story before. Yep. I'm looking at other momentum plays or day trades, and I'll jump in them, but I also look at the financials because I want to know how high could this stock really run. And people say, well, the fundamentals don't matter. Yeah, they don't matter to a point, but if you get stuck in that play, they damn sure matter.
That's right.
And you should not be ignoring financial statements ever, 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 ever. I mean, if you're in and out in a day, those sometimes I don't look at. But if you're thinking about holding it more than overnight, you ought to at least take a look and see, is this company losing money? Are their revenues going down every quarter? Why are the shorts all over this play? And for AMC, that is debt, $5 billion in debt. So that's the play. That's what you got to deal with. And the CEO, I think that just my opinion, he's going to go down a hero by the end of 2023 for having paid off the debt, or
correct,
or if not paid it off, gotten a good chunk of it taken care of at a discount. Retail investors that paid $50, $60 a share, if no squeeze happens, you might not consider him a hero. But to the fundamental investors in that company, or the people who want to support that company, or who got in now or a year and a half ago at a low price and just want to hold it and see what happens, he will be a hero to them.
Right. I agree, Tony. I mean, I think the profit margin, now that we're sitting at $4, it's very low for the short seller, because you have to factor in the heavy cost to borrow fee that they have to make up for when they're shorting. I mean, all arrows do point towards we're very close to support level. I mean, obviously in a bear market, things can go lower. However, we're turning the corner in terms of the box office. And you're seeing it all over the place. Deadline keeps reporting it. A lot of magazines are reporting that we're likely to see $9 billion in revenue for the total box office. So I feel like a lot of AMC's trials and tribulations are behind them. I feel like 2023 is going to be much better than this year.
Steven, you've done some shorting on stocks before, right?
Yes.
Address Jordan's comment that shorts don't care about cost to borrow.
Well, every short seller cares about cost to borrow because when you take on a margin account, you have to adhere to margin requirements by the prime broker. And if you violate those margin requirements, you're going to be liable, whether it's a liquidation or you get margin called, or you have to factor it into your cost, into your target. And it does matter. I mean, I think retail is just being emotional in terms of they can do whatever they want, and we just can't stop it, and it's a rigged game. And guys, you just can't have that mentality. That's a
Nope.
losing mentality.
Also, I can guarantee you that it's not just institutions that are shorting this thing. There's all sorts of retail and short YouTube channels that are shorting shit every day, and I hear them complaining about high cost to borrow. So I don't
Right.
buy that. I don't buy that argument for 1 second, Jordan, that nobody cares about cost to borrow.
Yeah, and
I've heard them complain about it. Or over 100%. That's pretty fucking high.
stocks don't fall forever, guys. Like at some point, an institution will look at AMC, they'll look at the box office, everything that me and Tony are talking about. They'll say, look, this company is severely undervalued. And they will step in and buy it. It's just we've been in a bear market, so you haven't seen bullish momentum in a very long time. I think people have just forgotten what that looks like.
They hate it when I bring that up too. Bear market shouldn't matter. We were told, Stephen, that
God.
this stock would soar in a bear market.
Well, that's because you have YouTubers saying that we're gonna squeeze in a crash, and
right, but
and not to knock those people, I've never subscribed to that theory. I think AMC does its best work when the SPY is running well.
yeah, we've talked about this many, many times. Like in a bear market, everything is going to go down, for the most part, and especially stocks that have negative earnings per share or a very high PE ratio. AMC being one of the first category and Tesla being one in the second category. G Immortal, good evening.
Yeah, I mean,
let's talk about this chart I have here for up on the screen. Annual ticket sales.
Oh, you like that, huh? It's a good one.
Yeah, thank you. Stephen actually showed me this a couple days ago, and I decided to start using this website too, Stephen.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, the average ticket price, $9.17. It's rising, as you can see, over the years because people like Adam Aaron pushing the Dolby and IMAX premiere, which is
really
good.
what I want to point out to you guys, like why we're at where we're at and where we're going in 2023 and beyond, is the total box office used to be around 10 to 11 billion bucks, and then in 2020 when all the theaters closed, it was under 2 billion. That's this low point right here. We climbed out a little bit in the hole in 2021 to just under 500 million. In 2022, this is total box office, 4.5 billion. I was looking at tickets sold. 4.5 billion in 2021, and 2022 7.46 billion. So we're climbing out of that hole, and the however long it takes, 2023, 2024, AMC will be just fine when they get back up to this 11 and 12 billion in box office, if they pay off the debt. Why do they have the debt? Again, that all goes back to understanding the history of this company, the financial statements. They bought a bunch of competitors in 2016 and 2017 and ballooned the liabilities in a play to become the dominant player in this industry. And then they got hit with the streaming services started coming online, and then we got COVID.
Yep.
So streaming services are unwinding. We're digging out of the hole on COVID, and we're going to be watching for this trend to go back up. Do you have any other thoughts on that chart or the table?
Yeah. I mean, Adam Aaron is a very aggressive CEO when it comes to mergers and acquisitions. So, yeah, you could say in the past he was overly zealous in a lot of the ways he acquires his screens.
I can't
But at
right
the
now.
same time, that's why you're making so much money. I mean, tickets sold 813 million. That's huge. AMC is going to get at least they make half of their money off of ticket sales. So it's kind of like Tony said, we have the debt, which is our huge obstacle, but outside of the debt, the company and the industry is doing great. And Tony, I want to say something else too. Adam Aaron does have something up his sleeve that no one knows about, which is the ability to produce movies inside of AMC. A lot of people don't talk about this. A lot of actors like Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, they're talking about producing their own movies because they're trying to cut out the streamers. They're trying to cut out Disney and all these other competitors. If Adam Aaron decides to produce his own movies at AMC, then he won't have to split any revenue with anybody.
Ricky is asking, do you think Hollywood is going to go bankrupt?
No. And well, when you bet against AMC, guys, you're betting against Hollywood. You're betting against actors, actresses. Look at the Scarlett Johansson case versus Disney. It's a lot bigger than just AMC. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, I haven't looked at any of the production houses' financial statements, so I can't really answer that question. But they always seem to come up with money. So it's kind of like a vanity thing. There's always someone wanting to hand them money to get their movie made.
So Jason Ikanawa says streaming is the future. AMC will be a boutique theater chain. Well, I'll say this to you, Jason. They also said that in the 1930s when the TV first came out and everybody could watch sports at home, and it's been going on for 100 years. So time isn't on your side.
And we'll see. I mean, for every bull on any stock, there's someone with a bearish sentiment, and that's just trading, guys. Time will tell. Right. I think that movies are part of Americana, and I'm proud to be invested in a company that I like and in an industry that I like. Saheb says, for people who sell calls, would it make sense to sell AMC and buy more Ape shares before the merge? I mean, that's a tough call, Saheb. I think there's a lot of strange things going on with AMC and Ape right now. And it's anybody's call what could happen. But I've talked about my parity theory that at some point before a vote, AMC and Ape would reach some level close to each other. If I had to guess, and I have no idea if I'll be right, AMC will tend to drift down and Ape will tend to drift up in the coming weeks. But I've had a bad call already on Ape, thinking that nobody was going to sell it. So probably shouldn't listen to me.
Nah, Tony, you're fine, man. It's hard to predict this stuff. I don't think anyone thought that Ape would have gone down.
I never would have imagined the huge, amount of influencers who came out against Ape. That was not on my prediction list. No. But I get it. I mean, it's a instrument of dilution. I understand why they were against it, but what they missed is that even when Ape is diluted, when you sell additional Ape, it still affects AMC. So the whole basis of their argument was incorrect.
And they didn't understand the conversion either. The fact that it was worth the same, it was equal. And
speaking of conversion, I had quite a few people send me some YouTubers video that, I mean, I don't know how you're 4 months into this Ape play and still not understand how many, if Ape is equivalent to AMC, but there's this guy putting out videos saying that Ape is worth 1/100th of an AMC. Guys, that is total bullshit. Total bullshit. Like, he couldn't even read the complete sentence on the press release. He would, it says here, Ape is worth 1/100th of AMC, and then he would not say the word preferred share. Like, why don't you read the complete sentence and then go understand what a preferred share is? Each preferred share is worth 100 shares of common stock. That's why Ape was divided. It was derived from preferred shares, divided by 100 to equal 1-for-1. Ape equals AMC. I mean, we've gone over this many, many, many times. All you got to do is read the documents. But once again, we got people new on the scene, new to investing, that can't be bothered to read anything. They just got to put out this crap and get everybody scared. And then in the comments, say, oh, excellent DD. Oh, so glad I learned this. Thank you for your excellent video. Like, how are people falling for this shit?
It's
How are
easier,
people-
Tony, to listen to people than to pull it up and interpret it yourself.
How do people not know about channels like KC or Pantheon or myself or Massalorian? They flock to these clickbait nonsense channels.
Yep.
For some reason. I don't get it. I don't get it. Jeffrey Roche, what's up, amigo? Broke Ape, what's up? Arthur Martin, how you doing? Ziggy 780, good evening. Jason says, so do 90% of movies, for every avatar there are 20 bombs. There are a lot of bombs, right? Steven, you want to talk about that for a second? The bomb to hit ratio.
Well, the main movie that bombs right now, it's not the quote unquote woke stuff that's what you hear a lot. Like, oh, the politically driven stuff is what causes it to bomb. It's not typically that movie. It's the ones that have the large lineups of like 10 high list Hollywood actors. We don't live in an era anymore where people go to the movies for high level, high profile actors. So if you take a movie like Amsterdam, who had, you know, Christian Bale, Margot Robbie, all these people just don't tune into those movies. In Babylon, same thing.
Yeah.
You know, they just don't want to see the Hollywood style movies, the old type of films, you know, like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, those kind of movies. Those just don't sell, unfortunately. So those are the ones that typically bomb. The ones that really sell, as you guys know, is obviously Marvel. So that's the culture we're in, guys. I mean, I'm an old time film person, and but yeah, as far as bombs go, Lightyear was the big bomb. Then you got, what's it called?
Strange World.
Yeah, that one was bad, but they made their money back on Avatar, so I'm sure Disney doesn't care.
I always say, as far as like Disney and Paramount, all these production companies, they're not immune to capitalism, guys. They're having meetings talking about these bombs too. What do we got to do different? We can't keep losing 20, 30, 40 million every time we put out a movie. There's going to be changes, but it's a slow moving ship. The movie production process, from script writing to script approval to green lighting the project to casting, that's a very long process. So you will be seeing, I think, some changes going forward in the coming years, hopefully, because I mean, the amount of bombs and horrible movies that we had in 2022 is just staggering. Thank God we had some good ones.
But overall, Tony, I think it was still a successful year, as we can see in the chart, is that we doubled tickets sold at the end of the day. So as long as we're moving in the right direction, I'm okay with it.
Six Sun is asking, do I think Adam Aaron sold more ape on this recent run? And let me pull up the chart here.
Oh, does he mean like after the pop?
Yeah.
66.
So let's go to, I do think Six Sun, after this run up to $2 and then this pressure down for the couple days after that, it would be my guess right now that he might have sold some. Because why wouldn't you? Well, refer to CEO Handbook Chapter 1. If you get a run up and you've got shares available, sell them, right? I'm going to keep on hammering this home to you guys. That's Chapter 1. If a price run up happens and you have shares available, a normal CEO is going to take advantage of that to sell them. Yes, the press release said that they would be limited through their deal with Antara from selling shares. Limited does not mean prohibited, right? Words are chosen carefully. Antara's in at 66 cents. I think it already double or triple their investment, they probably green-lighted some shares being sold. That's just my guess. We'll know next time we get a 8K or an official communication from the company. I could be wrong. It might have just been profit taking.
Tony, with the ape, I don't believe they need to do an 8K, right?
I mean, they don't need to say every time they sell, but at some point, if some were sold, he will disclose it.
Gotcha. Now with common stock, there must be an 8K, I believe.
There's an 8K when you do a shelf offering. Again, I don't know how often they have to update every time they sell shares. Someone said I messed up on dates. What did I get wrong now? But I mean, if he was willing to sell it for 60 cents, I sure as fuck hope he sold some at $2. I'll tell you that.
I agree. That's important.
All right. Now let's talk about the win for Seven's question. Wasn't Antara not able to sell at least for 90 days? I'll probably pop out a video on this tomorrow, a quick 2-minute video talking about the dates. So if you read that press release, it talks about the Antara shares being in 2 tranches. And the second tranche is subject to review and approval. And that review is being done by the FTC. And typically that process takes about 30 days, but it can take longer, which is why I think they have up to 90 days. That's just this is my best information I can share with you guys. You can see in the press release that they said that it has to go through a review process. And I can tell you that process is done by the FTC. And I looked on the FTC's website, and they said that it typically takes 30 days unless they request more information, in which case there may be extensions to that date. So whenever that process is done, however long it takes, then I think we'll hear from Adam Aaron and AMC about, okay, we got approval. Here's the proxy statement. So I believe that is what they're waiting on. I know a lot of people are saying, why can't we just get this over with? Right now, the ball is not in AMC's hands. But as soon as they get a green light, then you're going to hear something from them. And yes, Antara, as I recall, can't sell. They're supposed to be locked into this deal for 90 days. Millie says, the title says 1/2/22. Does it really?
Yeah, you put the date January 2nd, 22.
On the thumbnail or the title?
The title.
Whoops. All right. I can fix that while we're talking.
Jana Hanzo says, all the crazy FUD and attacks. I hope we're close. Yeah, it's always darkest before the dawn. It's one of my favorite quotes. Tony says it all the time, we're going to lose people. I mean, it's unfortunate, but the people I think who had the most patience, the ones who held both their AMC and Ape, I think will be the most rewarded.
What was that, about 3 months ago, that video that I put out with the thumbnail? It said there will be losses. And I wasn't talking about stock price. I was talking about the amount of YouTubers and retail investors that we are going to lose in this play. And I specifically talked about that in that video 2 or 3 months ago, that all of this, I foresaw it all, Stephen. It was very easy to know that we were going to lose more and more people. And hey, because they're clinging to a fantasy
right
given to them by Lou and the other clickbait shills that put out all these. I mean, I saw people live streaming every day talking about 9 billion synthetics and the price is going to be 500 million. I've got all the evidence. Adam Aaron's about to drop something secret, and I can't tell you right now, but in 2 days I'll delete this video in case I was wrong. You know the drill, Stephen.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to prices, guys, don't listen to anything. Like Tony doesn't obviously give prices. I don't either. They're always wrong, and Anywhere you go on YouTube, they're going to be wrong. Retail can pile into a stock. They can make you money, but majority of the time they're going to be wrong with how high something goes.
So what I'm looking for on a short squeeze, any short squeeze, and I'm sure there'll be some other ones that we play this week. High cost to borrow, high short interest, high retail involvement in the play, some sort of news catalyst. And a bonus would be people start loading up the options chain. So when you get all of those things, then that massive buying pressure starts coming in. You can't get out of the way of retail if all of those things line up. Right now, we're not having all of those line up. As soon as they do, we have some of the elements right now. We have over, I think the short interest is 21%, if I'm not mistaken. High cost to borrow. There are, the options chain is growing, but now it's growing on the put side. And we'll just have to wait and see what the news is and how this all plays out. But this is what makes it fun for me, this unknown element, this volatility. Everybody, the bears and the shorts are absolutely certain what's going to happen. All it's going to take is one bit of news that catches them off guard, and you're going to see some of them get caught. So right. Those of you that are asking, are we going to run up before the vote? I don't know. We need some catalyst. We need some news that nobody's expecting.
Sounds like Chad said that. Why are all YouTubers running for the way out? Are a lot of people quitting covering this, Tony?
I saw one from Jackson Hunter, Trey left. Yeah. One by one, they're all dropping, but these are all channels, guys, that have spent the last 18 months putting out content that we don't do here on this channel, trying to tell you how every week the squeeze is going to be tomorrow. And we don't do that here. So we're very zen. I mean, this is pretty much exactly what I said would happen. If the stock market goes down, this stock's going to go down. Expect it, embrace it. If you don't want to play in that, well, I've been saying it for 12 months that if the market goes down, our stock's going down. It is what it is. I'm not going to make apologies for those other YouTubers. And of course they're slinking away because they've been putting out frankly, some bad DD for a long time.
That's true.
But it's important. It's important to have people covering a stock when it's moving, but it's not moving right now, and we're in a bear market. So you're gonna have to tighten your seatbelts and decide: are you in it to see if a recovery play happens now or not? And that's your choice. I'm not here to tell you to buy, sell, or hold. You decide that.
Tony, I always say, never underestimate the greed of retail. And every time people are like, oh, Trey left, oh, Jackson left, guys, it's because the price is down and everybody's feeling down. But you guys have been here before. You know how it is. People act a certain way when AMC is above 20, and they act a certain way when it's under 20. When you break that 20, we're going to the moon again, right? So the key is, guys, don't worry about who is here, who's not. Let AMC do its thing, and you will be rewarded for your patience.
If it does run back up, they're all going to come back. I never left. I've been here with you in spirit the whole time.
Right. I also believe the people who manipulated their position, sell APE or sell AMC, all that crap, they're going to end up rebuying back in, because that's how AMC is. That's how GameStop is. When it moves, everyone in the world knows. They don't just stop. They don't just sell and never look at it. I guarantee Trey, all these people, they still look at the stock every day. They can't help it.
Yep. But it's very different being on a channel like this where we're giving you facts and reading the financials and being honest with you versus those guys who have to keep up a charade every day and come up with some new theory of the week. We just got, thank God, this T90 nonsense behind us. I'm so sick of having to explain I don't believe in that it was nonsense from day one. But there'll be something else. There'll be something else next week, I guarantee it. And then the week after that, because these guys need content. And if that's the channels you like for entertainment, that's fine. But if you're feeling some sort of way all up in your emotions, you got to check where you're getting your information from, because You're feeling emotional because you were listening to channels feeding you something to get them clicks. Maybe they believed it, maybe they didn't. Most of them were inexperienced. Most of them probably have never read a financial statement.
Coming out with the truth tonight, Tony. I love it.
They're all gone now. What do I care?
Right. Yeah, don't worry, guys. When like I said, when the price moves up, they all come back. That's just the simple way to putting it. It's just like a casino, you know? It's like when no one in the casino is winning, they all walk out. But then when someone's hot on the craps table, everyone jumps on that craps table, you know? Same thing.
I will tell you, I'm still in this play. I still have my AMC shares. I've been adding APE and only APE since August 22nd. The lower it got, the more I bought. So I'm very happy that it's at $1.40. I'm hoping that it goes back up to $2 or higher. 3 would be nice. But I'm just sitting tight. I mean, this is a volatile situation. A lot of people are trying to make moves and decide what they're going to do. Nobody knows how the vote is going to come out, although a lot of people think they know how it's going to come out. I'm just here for the ride at this point. And like I said, I stays in because I feel like I understand exactly what is going on. Bear market. The CEO is doing his best to save the company. That's going to piss a lot of people off. And the only one they should be mad at is themselves, not the CEO. He's doing his job. Hallie says, what are your thoughts on selling AMC and putting it into APE? I get asked that a lot, Hallie. I don't give financial advice, so I can't answer that for you. Do we know when the vote is? PD Harris. Yeah, I just got through talking about that. I expect it to be around 30 days from when they announced it. So end of January. But if the FTC review process on the Antara deal takes more than 30 days, it could be longer than end of January. As soon as the deal is approved, then I'm certain we'll hear something from Adam Aron. For all of you who are yelling at the screen, Adam Aron is not on our side. A CEO, they're going to work every day figuring out, how do I keep this company viable and grow it into the future? They're not going into the office thinking, how do I ensure a MOAS on this stock? I've said that every month for the last 18 months. And if that's the first time you're hearing it or you don't like hearing it, I am sorry. But I'm not going to apologize for saying that. Adam Aron's job, a lot of people are starting to realize it now. I hear them saying it. I just realized he's not trying to cause a MOAS. Well, no shit. If we get lucky and a squeeze happens, great.
Right. I completely agree. I just can't wait, Tony, for when the institutions get some kind of bullish signal and they say enough is enough and just go into consumer discretionary stocks again, you know?
Yeah,
then
I mean, the Fed, you know, making some change in interest rates could be a catalyst.
Right, that's February, real close.
AMC having some surprise news that we don't know about. Maybe after the reverse split and they generate some more cash, you know, they cut a deal with Cineworld. There's just all sorts of things that are potential catalysts. I'm hoping that in the early part of this year, we get some news on popcorn going into retail stores. Again, that's more incremental revenue. How much? I don't know. I don't wake up every day saying that this company is going to be saved by credit cards and popcorn like some channels do, but they will be incremental ads, and every incremental ad is good. And you never know with gold prices, you know, what's going to happen to Hycroft stock. If Hycroft's stock price ever goes up, that's another adder to our earnings per share for AMC. Go Blue says, would reverse squeeze be off the table if APE runs to 5 to 10 range and he sells more? I mean, that's something to think about, Go Blue. I don't know.
I don't think Adam Aaron would back out of the deal last second with Intara. That would seem out of character. But who knows? I mean, if it did hypothetically run up that high, maybe he would be better off. I'm not sure.
I think he's got what, roughly 150, 175 million shares left to sell. So probably not enough cash for him, even if it ran to $10. How many shares does Adam Aaron own?
At
Puff Bear
least
is
3
asking.
million.
He just tweeted that he has vested and unvested 3 million APE and 3 million AMC, if I recall correctly. The reason some of them are unvested is they typically have a 5-year vesting period. Dan says, Stock Retail YouTube channel has some good videos. I just retweeted one of his that I saw tonight. Go check that channel out. Yes, it was a logical breakdown of, is Adam Aaron trying to save the company or bankrupt the company? And I thought the gentleman did an excellent job. So go check out Stock Retail. A lot of what I have, well, I'll let you judge for yourselves on my upcoming videos this week. Ziggy says, delete the short thesis, Adam Aaron, if he has sold more shares and takes debt away. Sheets look better. I'm not sure what that is. But he says, I fully agree. No news or catalyst, and it's a wait and see. Yep. There's plenty of potential for this stock based on the amount of people that are still in the play and watching it, but you need some sort of catalyst to kick it off.
Buying Cineworld, I think that's a catalyst.
What is? Buying Cineworld?
Yeah.
Taking out your number 2 competitor?
Correct. Yeah, that's huge.
Especially if you can do it without spending a bunch of cash.
I mean, you can be in debt, but if there's no one to compete against, does it matter?
What I would do if I bought Cineworld is I would either just buy the choice theaters, or if he was forced into buying more than just the best ones, immediately close all the non-performing ones.
Right. I think they have their own debt too, Cineworld. I haven't looked into it, but they definitely have their own debt too.
Yeah, I'm thinking, if a deal like that works out, right, the creditors for Cineworld would either want cash or stock from AMC.
Yeah.
There's different ways that could play out. And it's been tabled for the moment, but that does not mean that it's off the table. I think he didn't have enough leverage with Ape. Six Son trying to troll me here. Good-natured trolling. How are you voting? He says.
He knows.
I'm not telling anybody how I'm voting, and I'm not telling you how to vote. I will, in an upcoming video, go over what I think is going to happen if it's a yes or no vote. Richard says, who stops the hedgies from using tokens as locates? I would say, Richard, who has proved that there are actual tokens being used as locates? Where has that been proven? Until I have real evidence, I can't talk about that. That's just one more theory out there. I don't waste my time. But when someone gets the actual evidence, we will shout it from the rooftops. Thank you, Roseanne. Have a good night. Scarlett, Roseanne says, best regards to you. Do I think the reverse split goes through? Hallie says, would that give more opportunity by Cineworld? If, Richard, it is followed by a cash raise.
Tony, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
What do you have to say to the people who are saying if a reverse split goes through to $50, the hedgies are just going to come and short it back down to $5? Like you heard how I feel about that with my market cap argument, but I just wanted your thoughts on it.
I'm going to save that for my upcoming video, Stephen.
Oh, okay, perfect.
But yeah, I'm going to cover that. I do not buy this whole thing of we're letting shorts out of 90% of their position. Again, that exhibits extreme misunderstanding of how shorts work. If you've ever been short in a split or a stock split, the amount of shares you owe might change. They might go up, they might go down, but that is irrelevant because the dollar amount that you owe is exactly the same. Just like if there were a split or a reverse split and your shares, the quantity might change, but your portfolio value is exactly the same. The shorts are in the same boat. So if there's a reverse split and they owe 10 times less shares, they've got to go fight in a smaller pool of shares to cover the same dollar amount. What they owe is not changing. You're not letting them off 90%. You're actually forcing them in a much smaller float to go find shares when they need to cover. So I hate that argument that these people keep on saying that we're letting them out of 90% of their position. That is just a complete misunderstanding.
I agree. Connectitude says the same thing, and just stay tuned for Tony's next video because I'm confident he'll break it down really, really good for us.
If you, I don't think I put it on YouTube, but I did. I might do a separate video on this. I know everybody's concerned, and it's a justifiable concern that after reverse splits, 1,000 horror stories of stocks that went down. But I would bet you that 999 of those stories that were penny stocks that were trading at 20 cents. And there's a reason that these companies are trading for 20 cents. And it's typically because they have quarters after quarters or years after years of declining revenue. Some of them have no revenue. And they're being sold off and shorted because they are failing companies.
Right.
And so they're reverse splitting out of desperation because they're about to get delisted. And I've talked every single week to be careful buying the run-ups on these type of penny stock, failing penny stock companies that are reverse splitting. I see so many YouTube channels talking about this is bullish, guys. They're about to do a reverse split. You got to be really careful on penny stocks that are doing a reverse split. They do tend to go back down after a week or so, if not right away after the split, because they were a train wreck before the split and they're a train wreck after. It's just a fugazi to stay listed on the market for 6 more months. Right. AMC is a multi-billion-dollar 100-year company that is coming out of the hole of COVID. Yes, they have problems. They have the debt. They're not back up to 2019 levels of box office, but it's not a penny stock.
Right. And Tony, to your credit, I think reverse splitting in a bear market is a lot different than reverse splitting in a bull market. Because if you're reverse splitting in a bull market, I think there's a problem. Because most of the time things are going up and your company should be doing well theoretically, financially. But in a bear market, it's fairly common to reverse split. I mean, I could get a long list of companies that are doing very well that reverse split simply because their prices are going too low and they want to be more attractive to institutional buyers.
So in my one of my other upcoming videos this week, I decided let's not look at penny stock reverse splits because those companies are already trash. They're already trash. You just got to, it's not even a fair comparison to say, well, I know 999 20-cent companies that did a reverse split and went right back down to 20 cents. Guys, those were trash before the split and trash after. Of course, they went back down. But let's look at, and I did the sort, and I'll show you some examples of companies comparable to AMC with over $1 billion market cap that have done reverse splits in the past several years. And you might be surprised to know that some of them are up 3 to 10x in the year or 2 or 3 since they did a reverse split. But nobody's talking about that because the shorts don't want you to know that. So I will do a video where I go through some examples of comparable companies, recent ones. Yes, we've all seen the chart on Twitter of 10 companies that did fine, but I don't like that chart because like the most recent one was 2011. Someone pulled that off of Google image search. I can do you one better and use my stock screener to show you recent stocks reverse splits of companies with a large market cap, like AMC. And I'll show you a few that didn't work out and a few that worked out stupendously. So let's just slow down on the emotions. Make sure when you're, I have no idea what's going to happen after the reverse split. First of all, it could go down. Could. It's generally not seen as a bullish thing, but I can give you examples of companies comparable to AMC, which did not go down. In fact, they excelled after a reverse split. Recent examples.
Just curious, I believe Citigroup was one of the, I don't know if that's one of your examples. They did a reverse split and they had 10-1, ended up doing just fine.
I put it on the Discord and I put it on Twitter, but I have not put it on the community tab yet.
The key is Adam Aaron, he can't, like I said in my stream, is he can't reverse split and just put his feet up on the counter and call it a day. He needs to do a reverse split, combine it with amazing news and direction of the company. I think then institutional investors will look at that and say, you know what, $4, I think that's good enough for me. And they'll step in. They just need news on top of it. So you have to have faith in your CEO if they're doing a reverse split. And like Tony said, most of those are trash. In a bull market, you might have thought those were good stocks, but they were never good from the get-go.
They were just being pumped by Zach Morris and everybody piled into them. And then they were given false price targets and they bag held them all the way down. And it's just, it is what it is. All of those penny stock reverse splits. Gus says, Big B says, debt is not the only issue. You need to pay off the debt, but you're still red every quarter. Yeah. I was talking about that in the Discord today. Even if we pay off the debt, we still have to get, let me put this screen share back up. We still have to address the operating loss. And the reason that AMC is having an operating loss is we're not at these 2018, 2019 levels of box office. So it's inevitable. He has no choice but to raise money, be it selling AMC or selling Ape. Whether the debt's paid off or not, for the next few quarters, there's probably going to be some operating losses, even if the debt was not there.
But
200 million or more.
If everything falls our way based on the current trends of the box office, you're looking at returning to pre-pandemic levels within 2 years.
Yep.
So
I know some people just fainted when you said 2 years. 2 years.
I mean,
I've already waited 2. How can I wait 2 more?
I'm going to say something that might hurt people's feelings. If you buy an individual stock, you need a 5-year plan. That's just the truth. Squeeze or no squeeze. If you choose to buy an individual stock, 5-year plan, no ifs, ands, or buts. I bought AMC in October of 2020 with a 5-year plan. I'm in year 2. So I still got another 3 years to watch this whole thing play out. If you have that mindset, you're never gonna get emotional about your stock.
Or the other thing that we talk about all the time, when you buy something, you should already know your sell price. If it doesn't work out the way you wanted, right? If you bought at 50 and you saw it go up to 70 and it didn't squeeze, you didn't sell, well, you should have some stop loss level to protect yourself. And don't fucking listen to YouTubers. I see this in
these price targets. They mess people up.
I see this in every play every week. People putting out ridiculous price targets. And then you have a legion of bag holders and hundreds of tickers. When you buy something, you already need to know your top end and your low end where you're going to sell. If it works out, great. If it doesn't work out, get out of the play, let it settle down. If you want to buy back in, wait for a good entry. Grandpa Barney, shout out, brother. Grandpa Barney says, super chat courtesy of Grandpa Barney and Froggy to Tony and Steven.
That's funny.
Thank you, Grandpa, and
Thank you, Grandpa.
Special shout out to Froggy. Thank you too. Richard says, Casey said if it wasn't for debt, the AMC would be profitable. No, that's not true. Steven, you've looked at the financials.
On what?
AMC.
Oh yeah, I mean they're not great. You can't say.
I mean, we're carrying an operating loss every quarter.
Yeah, we're moving in the right direction overall, but Adam Aaron has the resources. That's the key. And I'm not going to go into the vote here, but my belief is that we should not strip Adam Aaron of his resources. It's because of the large obstacles that he has, which is operating costs and the overwhelming debt. So he still has a plan. So we're, as shareholders, we got to roll with it. Tony, I bought in 2020, man. It was a straight gamble. It was on the brink of bankruptcy. Now, at least we're not facing bankruptcy, you know?
Yes. Yeah. Bankruptcy, I think, is off the table as long as he's given the ability to raise a little more cash. So our operating loss last quarter was 114 million. That's revenues for admissions, food and beverage, and other, minus the expenses of running the theater, minus 114 million. I think Q4 may be a little bit more of a loss than 114 million because box office was not as much in Q4. So even if we take out the debt, we're still minus 114 million. But that's better than 225 if he was able to pay off the debt. But I was looking at Cinemark, and in their most recent quarterly statement, they actually posted their first operating positive quarter. I think they made $18 million, not net, but on operating expenses. They were in the same situation as AMC, massive losses, getting better every quarter. And so I think, AMC being a much larger company than Cinemark, it might take us another quarter or two. We have more fixed cost to absorb, but we're getting there. We're moving in the right direction.
Six Sun says, why do a 1 for 10 and not a 1 for 5? That's a good question.
I'm going to save most of that answer, Six Sun, for my upcoming video, but I think it has to do with the fact that he's going to raise money after the split. The higher the split price, the less dilution he needs to do. If that doesn't make sense, don't worry. I'm going to explain it in an upcoming video.
I mean, all right, Tony, the cost average in COVID time was $2 with no revenue, no foot traffic, rent up the yin yang. Like everything was going against us for $2. Now we're at $4. Bankruptcy's off the table. The financials are moving in the right way, assuming that Adam Aaron makes the correct decisions. And
when you say cost average, you mean the stock price?
Oh, sorry. Yes, stock price. So, I mean, assuming he makes the right decisions, ditch the underperforming theaters, bring in the premium formats. We have a loaded box office looking forward. I don't see much more of a bottom from where we're at currently. Assuming we do not have another lockdown, I think we'll be just fine.
Assuming we don't have another lockdown and assuming that he continues to find some way to raise cash.
Popcorn's about to hit the grocery stores. That should help.
All right, we're going to wrap this up in about 4 minutes because I promised Scarlett I would not be on for 4 hours tonight. So We'll take a couple more questions, or Steven, if you have any wrap-up stuff you want to cover real quick.
Nope, that's it for me. I had a great time.
Thank you for coming in and contributing your knowledge and your thoughts.
I appreciate that. Everybody in
William
the
says, so in other words, buy low and sell before everyone else and pretend there's not a blue million naked shorts. I mean, guys, if I had evidence of a bajillion naked shorts, I'd be making 10 videos a day, but I'm not going to make videos telling you about stuff that I can't give you hard evidence of. That's the thing. And the people that have been beating that drum are the ones that are going away. Is there naked shorts? Is there shenanigans in the market? Is there rehypothecation? Yes, yes, and yes. But I don't plan my investment strategy around that.
Exactly. That's the best way to put it, I think. Your investment strategy cannot be dependent on things you can't prove or see.
One thing we're going to do in 2023 is keep on hammering home this notion of get a good entry, get out with a profit, and we're gonna start highlighting the ridiculousness that people are putting out on these different plays, these retail momentum plays. You know, out of all the ones we've watched in the last 6 months, how many actually got anywhere close to what someone said on YouTube that they were going to? Maybe the only one that I can really recall is Redbox. Redbox exceeded people's expectations. Almost everything else that
There's very few of them. I mean,
people were telling you going to $1,000, $10,000. They got to like $10 maybe.
DWAC surprised. I would say SPRT, ATER. But outside of that, I mean, man, majority of them fell apart after about $3.
DWAC was a special case because that was an IPO.
Yep, DWAC was pretty gnarly.
And I didn't see a lot of people making, well, only one that I can think of making ridiculous price targets on DWAC. A very bullish Trump supporter, friend of mine on YouTube. But that's good. I mean, you got to have bulls. You got to have bulls and people talking things up to get retail behind it. What we're going to be continuing focusing on this channel is helping you realize where the thing is turning and to resist the temptation to fall for these ridiculous price targets. Now, am I going to get some wrong? Are some of them going to go much higher than where I got out? Yes, a couple will, but 90% we're going to get in, get out. We'll be happy with it. There might be a few that run past where I get out, and that's the breaks. But the most important thing is not to be bag holding a bunch of loser plays because you listen to somebody with a ridiculous price target or bad
Right.
DD or somebody that doesn't understand filings. I see people that are calling out price targets that don't understand filings, not reading the financials. So if that sounds like something you might be interested in, I hope to see you on some of the lives and some of the videos over the course of this upcoming year. And we're going to be focusing on first and second base hits. And sometimes we get lucky with home runs, but we're not going to be counting on them.
Right.
If nothing else, sorry, Stephen. If nothing else, sell your initial investment, get that back, and let the rest ride.
You know, it sounds really boring what I'm about to say, but just try this. Every time you see a YouTuber that pumps a stock, go onto Webull, hit the paper trading button, and with the fake money, paper trading, and just buy $2 and just watch it. You'll find out by paper trading, you'll see a lot of these mistakes happen over and over and over again, and you won't have to use your real money to figure it out.
One technique I use too, Stephen, is I go back and look at 6 months of their videos and then see what price target they were calling and then how the stock actually performed.
Oh man.
But nobody ever holds these guys accountable for that.
Oh no, of course not.
Anyways,
we're gonna wrap it up.
Keep on going to watch Avatar. keep your fingers crossed that that chart we showed in the beginning of this stream continues to outperform. I'm going to try and drag Scarlett out to a movie this week. She hasn't seen Avatar. How do you feel about going to a movie? You think you're up for getting out of the house yet? This week. All right. She says yes. So, in the meantime, there's going to be a lot of volatility with AMC and Ape. Play it smart. I can't tell you which one to buy or sell. I can't tell you that. My crystal ball is a little fuzzy. But so I am, Stephen, I know you said you were thinking about buying some AMC in the next week. I'm thinking about it. I've only been buying Ape since August, but I'm thinking about it. I'm going to wait and see how it performs in the early days. But this high cost to borrow does have me kind of like, should I?
Right. I mean, for me, I bought at $4. I have more if it continues to dip. But the thing is at the end of the day, the short interest is heavily on AMC. So I don't understand the people that say sell AMC to buy Ape or any of that nonsense. Like I was saying earlier, the $2 price was the COVID price, and we're just really dangerously close. And when you factor in cost to borrow, it doesn't make sense for the short to keep pile driving. There's just really not much more profit they can take at this point. So that's why I recently purchased it.
I think at the end of the day, they know that another cash raise is coming, the shorts. So it is all hands on deck in bear world to make you scared, make you want to get out of this play, so that they can try and get out of their short position. But some of them are probably betting on the stock going down after a reverse split too. So we'll have to see how it plays out. I'm not making any predictions on what happens after price wise after the reverse split. I will make some predictions on what I think the company is going to do, and we'll cover that in an upcoming video, hopefully 10 minutes or less. Scarlett is doing better. Thank you, Mr. Canuck, for asking. She's here next to me on the couch, and she's still in some pain. She Googled today how long for a clavicle injury to heal. What did it say? 10 weeks? 8 to 10 weeks. So she's going to be in some pain for a while, but she's sitting up, and she's mostly just resting. So she's got weeks of healing ahead. On the bright side, she's back to her normal, mostly happy self. And unless I'm not giving foot rubs or serving up food quick enough, and and just dealing with a little bit of pain.
I hope, Scarlett, for a speedy recovery, Tony.
Thank you, Stephen. Stephen says speedy recovery. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Expect more from me. I think I'm going to have a big deductible that I need to cover in the coming weeks. So I got to crank out some videos and some lives. And even though Scarlett thinks she needs 24-hour babysitting, she's going to have to park her tush on the couch here or something while I work. So love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Go check out Massalorian if he is still on, and tell him to call me so we can coordinate for the next one. We'll see you guys. Appreciate it.
See everybody.